And we are back. Hey, Ashley.
Woohoo! Hello, how's it going?
Good. I hope our listeners are doing well. We are super excited. Today's episode is going back to a vinyl release. But before
Yes.
we get there, I do have an announcement. Uh, Currently in 2025, we have a brand new set of releases, and it's actually a double EP. Now,
Ooh,
what happened was we ended up creating a partnership with a local Las Vegas artist by the name of Coco Pastel, and they do kind of like dark synth kind of club kind of music.
ooh,
Very very 80s reminiscent of that kind of
nice.
stuff. But as she was writing her album, she quickly realized she has two distinct voices and they don't really mesh well together. And so it became released as two EPs, one under Coco Pastel, and the other songs that are more cinematic than they are anything else.
Hmm.
Uh, they're under her own name, Mo Milan. So those are both
Oh,
out.
interesting tactic.
One is the Lover EP and the other is the Girl EP. So it's the Lover Girl double EP project. Go check it
Very
out.
cool.
Brand new. Um, Mo Milan is a multi instrumentalist, and so she played everything, recorded everything,
Wow.
and is planning to take it to the live show. So should be fun. Check it out.
Wow.
We shot a music video for one of the Coco Pastel songs. Um, Collaborated with an animator in England who did our introduction animation.
Cool.
Really, really cool stuff. Partnered up with a UNLV dance alum on the choreography. Really, really cool stuff. So Coco Pastel, this music videos for the song "Remind Me"
Where can we see that music video? How can we find that?
on YouTube. So if you look up Coco, just like the chocolate, pastel, like the colors, Coco Pastel, "Remind Me," and you will hopefully be blown away. I mean, you might watch the video and go, I could do better. But I hope not. A lot of artists worked on it. Blood, sweat, and tears, almost a year of pre-production. We shot for 12 hours, so I hope you enjoy it.
Gosh, I'm excited to see it.
Um, and then the other thing, so summer 2025, there will be the Nevada Women's Film Festival. There's one feature film that is playing. It is the Nevada premiere. It is a movie called Riot in Bloom. This film was a co-curricular project at the Department of Film at UNLV, where faculty directed, produced, and wrote this film. And it's kind of like a comedy, kind of like a rom-com kind of thing, woman gets divorced kind of situation. And I was music supervisor, and as a music supervisor, we basically licensed a bunch of GC Records catalog items because it was kind of a period piece, like kind of thing, and the main character loves '90s music. So what I did was I took stuff that was '90s ish, like even if it was recorded in 2015, you're like, oh, you know what, that kind of sounds like it could be from the '90s kind of thing, and I put it in two different folders. I categorized it by male vocals and female vocals, not genre, not year. I think it sounds like, but just male vocals, female vocals. And that was it. That was my involvement. Then Brett Levner's editing students, they got to go through those songs and choose the song they felt was the most right for the scene that they were working on.
It's so fun.
So Nevada premiere at the Nevada Women's Film Festival, but we will also on June 17th be digitally releasing the original motion picture soundtrack. So it'll be all your favorites, some of the stuff that we've already covered on the podcast, and some other things. So,
Do you have the dates for the Las Vegas Film Festival? Just in case any local listeners might be
yeah,
interested in crashing
19th through
that
the
party.
22nd. 19th through the
Hot.
22nd. And it will be at the Department of Film, FDH 109.
Oh, such a great
Go
theater.
online, get your tickets. You can get your tickets for, I think, single screenings. You can also get it for the full festival, which is cheaper. But there will be Riot in Bloom, directed by Brett Levner, and that is going to have the original motion picture soundtrack dropping on June 17th, and then the festival's June 19th through the 22nd. And definitely go check out Coco Pastel and Momolan. But now it's time to go back in time. So today's episode, we're taking a look at a split 7-inch. And how did the split 7-inch come about? Well, from already working with the Thrash Cats and Four Letter Words and all of these Anaheim bands. Kevin, who was in Four Letter Words and also became the drummer of Lipstick Pickups, he said, hey, we're already kind of doing this thing, but it would be nicer to go halvesies with somebody kind of situation, so that we spend less, but have some fun, get a couple logos on there, whatever you need. And I was like, oh, definitely 100%. First of all, because we'd already worked with them. We already loved the crew. But because these bands were awesome. Like, we would book shows together and see them all the time. And it was just like a no-brainer. And so what we're going to do is we're going to start with the Lipstick Pickups first. And this is a song called Black Cherry Soda Pop. And honestly, it to me, it sounds like if Betty Boop had a punk band, a garage punk band, right? And so it's kind of on the surf rock side of things, but definitely I see it in black and white. So here we go. This is Black Cherry Soda Pop by the Lipstick Pickups.
Alrighty, that was Black Cherry Soda Pop, up all the words, from Lipstick Pickups. It's such a wild vibe to have that incredibly feminine, kind of cutesy pop little sound. That like a Betty Boop kind of sound with the punk rock energy. The like rebellion plus hyper feminized vocalization.
And you got to remember, this was the era of Bikini Kill. This was the era of Hole. This is like, Joan Jett had been around for a minute and was influencing all of those, folks. There was a whole underground movement called Riot Girl. And so all these young girls and women picking up guitars and it was nice. It was really cool. And so seeing the Lipstick Pickups live, especially, in a time, just coming out of the 90s, early 2000s, for the past 2 decades, 90% of the punk bands or even rock bands, honestly, men, dominated
Yeah.
by men, right? And so, and then when there were women, because there were, like in the 50s and 60s, they're doing cover songs. They're, groups that are put together singing other people's arrangements, and right. And so to see, not only it's like a band of women, but they're the ones writing the songs. It's their
That's rad.
personal music, right? Almost like a singer-songwriter thing, but with this angst and this, no, I'm up here, we're up here kind of thing.
Yeah.
So
in hindsight, now that you mention it, that poses an interesting kind of conundrum, because I noticed as I was listening, it was a little bit difficult to understand the diction, both because of the way that she was kind of voicing, but also it would make sense that if it was a kind of male dominated industry for so long, especially that punk scene, that it's likely in the studio that they hadn't quite figured out how to balance the instrumentation to suit that female timbre against those instruments, because you've got the bass heavy and you've got the tonality of the male voice carrying over, but not necessarily matching the female voice form and frequencies.
That just blew my mind.
And then you've got like the Betty Boop sound, which is again totally different from your standard female tone. And so that's just a whole different like realm of audio engineering.
Wow.
That I hadn't considered that being
I had not
until this
considered
happened
that either until you just brought that up. And but it does also remind me of things like, from the history of film and film photography, it's always been balanced for white skin.
Yeah.
And so that was always an issue, and so in a similar fashion, wow, the engineer knows how to dial in male voices all day long. Interesting. Very, very interesting and perceptive. Yeah, as far as the diction, even how there's those jokes where you're singing along to your favorite song, but then you get louder on the chorus because you know it.
Yes.
Literally,
yes.
"Your love was poison from the start"
yes.
is the only line I sing to on that song, and the rest of it I'm kind of like, I'm like, I don't know that part, but
yes.
But I
such
think it is
wonderful
the
energy.
Betty Boopness also, I think, throws me off a little, but
in a fun
so
way,
cute and
That's
so
adorable.
Yeah. So that was Lipstick Pickups. Next up are the Bikini Bumps. These are a bunch of dudes, but they were the best dudes. Such amazing, fun people. Again, knew them from shows in the Anaheim crew, and in fact Jeff was also in Four Letter Words with Kevin, so this was like a family event. Bikini Bumps plus talent equals violence by the Bikini Bumps.
All right, that was Bikini Bumps plus talent equals violence by Bikini Bumps. I'm gonna start with a question.
What's up?
It's a bunch of dudes. Band's called Bikini Bumps. I was thinking Bikini Bumps as perhaps razor bumps upon the line of banikis. How did they choose this name? Do you know? Did they spend a lot of time by
I don't think they.
Bikini Lands?
No, the specific answer I do not know, but I do feel like they just thought it was a kind of a giggly kind of thing to even exist.
Absolutely
right,
is.
and it because it also and then it derives from shaving the hee hee hee. You know, I don't know, like
That's
it's
true.
like you're
I mean, it's a
shaving
very
your
fun
privates, and then it's a bikini. I don't know. So
it's a very fun name.
Yeah, I think as the group, I think they thought it was hilarious.
That's adorable.
But that could be the incorrect answer, but it wouldn't surprise me. So
I mean, I would strongly endorse that being the answer if that does end up cosmically being it. I feel like I should let you go into lore, but before I let you do it, I feel like in the same way that we got a little bit of kind of a bass heaviness in the last recording, and I don't want anyone listening for me to interpret me as emasculating the singer at all, but tonally, a lot of the vocals were kind of sitting in a
high.
It was a bit of a yell register for him, which was a bit of an androgynous tonality, which lent into that kind of feminine register, which again was probably not quite tuned to that mic area again. It also seemed like the studio artist was like really digging those bass tones, so we got a really sexy tonality on the bass.
Yeah, we did.
And we got a decent amount of that on like lead guitar, but because there wasn't a whole lot of that bass tonality and that richness of the chest in his voice, we didn't hear a lot of it. We got a little bit of it when he was like doing the punk scream, just a little. And so we lost it.
But the punk scream too. That's also so. Brian was the singer, and he was the one singing the high stuff. Mike would lend to the screams, so he was doing, yeah.
Oh, okay. So there was boosted scream. I will also confess that I lost some of the lyrics. Do we have a lyrics situation?
Well, the 7-inch, which cleverly on the cover has mug shots of the dudes.
Oh my god, love.
Strangely standing in front of a women bathroom? Are they just waiting for their girlfriend, or what's going on? And then the lipstick pickups wrote their name on their shoes on the bottom of their Converse, and they're sitting on a stoop in San Pedro. So cute. But in the 7-inch, we did have two inserts. One was for the lipstick pickups, just had some address, website, song title stuff. No lyrics, unfortunately. And then the Bikini Bumps, for One Sheep, Two Sheep, they did have lyrics. And coincidentally, speaking of Bikini Bumps, one of the lines in One Sheep, Two Sheep is sarcasm is our way of life. So I think that
nice
tells you everything you need to know. For Bikini Bumps plus talent equals violence, this is what it says.
Okay.
Which you might not be able to do it. You might have to get into a time machine and go back in time. But it says, for lyrics, go to Mega Video in Anaheim and ask Brian. So that to me either says the rest of the band never could understand what he was saying, or that Brian didn't get the lyrics in on time and they had to go to print because they were getting ready for tour and they needed to take these with them. I don't know, but that's hilarious. So I'm sorry. I also do not know what they're saying there.
Well, MapQuest is suggesting that Mega Video in Anaheim is open until 6 p.m.
Oh, hey.
Right?
Go there and ask for Brian. Say, I need to know Bikini Bumps plus talent equals violence. What?
It looks like it is suspended in time. I'm in love.
Wow. Shoot. What if he still works there? What if like 2 decades have gone by and he owns the place now?
Oh my god, that would be amazing.
Yeah. No, after Bikini Bumps broke up, I lost touch with Brian. Occasionally, I've seen Jeff over the years. Mike, we're friends on social and stuff, but Anyway, that is the two songs we're gonna play from that record.
That was a blast.
Good episode. I feel like, I'm sorry, listener. I know you want to go to the past with these, but I kind of overloaded the episode with new stuff. But new stuff is continuing to happen, so check it out.
A wonderful blend of new and the past.
Mm-hmm.
Samurai Jack.
Yeah. Oh,
sorry, vintage references. Sorry.
Yeah. What a show. Yeah, perfect. And did you see the last episode, like the last season that they made?
No, I need to do that.
So they basically brought the director back and allowed him to finish it, like basically finish Samurai Jack. Look into that. They basically closed the arc, and it was weird to begin with, but it got weirder. Yeah, and it's almost more mature, I would say. Now we're reviewing Cartoon Network stuff.
Sorry.
But, early in the early episodes, it was, young adult cartoons.
That's true.
And cartoon characters that Hanna-Barbera looking monkeys and stuff, right?
Yeah, that's true.
No, the later season,
I do remember seeing some clips and some analyses of it, and it looked like it took quite a bit of a turn. But I know that this is a tangent we can both go down because we're also kind of indie animation fans to a degree. So,
totally.
So we will temper ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
That is a different podcast.
That's a way. And unfortunately, neither one of us has time to add another podcast to the thing. But maybe one day.
But for now, this one's a blast.
Listeners, thank you so much for joining us on this journey. This was Bikini Bumps with Lipstick Pickups, split 7-inch. That was released July 1st, 2002. Up next, our next episode that will air sometime in the future will be the follow-up to the You Call This Music Volume 1 with You Call This Music Volume 2. See you then. Bye.
Later.